Hello and welcome to episode 119 of the Focus on Gaming podcast. My name's Duncan.
And I'm Tom.
And we weren't here for last week's episode. Illness and having kids sometimes gets in the way. So we are back now for episode 119. And what have you been up to, Tom? Have you been playing anything?
Well, I have been playing Fortnite as per normal. And I'm not going to talk much about that, but I've been playing Fortnite. But I've also been playing a demo that was released on the Steam store, which was Claude, and it's a dinosaur game.
As in paws, kind of claws, sharp claws.
Yes,
not as in Claude Monet.
Not in Claude Monet, no. It's set in a theme park called Prehistoria, so it's very Jurassic Park, and essentially everything's gone to shit, and you have to go around and scavenge for resources, solve puzzles, explore the park. I think there's someone that's missing in the park, and there's just a lot to do. And graphically, it is absolutely phenomenal. You have to avoid, obviously, the T-Rex and other dinosaurs. You go underground. There's a megalodon in there. There's bronchiosaurus.
So is it like a one that has a story, or is it more sort of the open-ended kind of thing?
So far, it's a demo. So I'm going to say that so far it is a case of scavenge for resources, solve puzzles, fight your way out of sort of diverse areas, underground tunnels, deadly enclosures, stuff like that, and survive essentially. But because it's a demo, I can't really tell you any more than that. There is an online co-op version, and there is obviously the single player. There is a tourist mode where you can just, I think, explore the park, which
Before
is very beautiful.
All the dinosaurs escaped.
Yeah, and interestingly, the dinosaurs are quite realistic because some of them have feathers, some of them are size appropriate, things like that. So it really is a beautiful game. I'm hoping it gets a PlayStation release so I can actually play it in all its glory rather than the Steam Deck choking every 5 seconds, because it's not Steam Deck compatible at this moment, but you can actually load it on the Steam Deck, but it does take a while to load.
It's unknown, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not that it's not supported, but I think you probably have to have it on very low.
Yeah. They've already updated the demo, so there's more things to do already. So they're keeping us interested. It's made by a developer called Flat Rock Games. And it's due for release in Q1 of 2026. So exciting stuff, really. So,
excellent. Yeah, it's part of their Next Fest, which it's always quite good fun because they just a bunch of games release demos, and yeah, quite a few release quite big ones. So it's always worth looking out for what is available. But also, you'll find some quite anticipated games. We'll have a little demo for you to sample. So it looks interesting.
What about you? What you've been playing?
Well, I've been playing mostly on Game Pass, a couple of games, as well as Fortnite. Again, single player stuff, not the actual game that they want you to play. I have been playing Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which I thought that you might be interested in, and it's not bad actually. It's what can I say? So a pixel graphics, side-scrolling beat 'em up, but you can control only one at a time. But you have a team of two superheroes. Ranges from Iron Man to Black Panther. Yeah, all the Avengers kind of ones. But then they're more. It's got She-Hulk in there and Rocket, things like that.
Yeah, it's quite a few, isn't there?
Yeah, it's quite good, and they all work well together. And some of them have specific to the things that they can do on certain levels if they're associated with the enemy that you're going for. So yeah, it's good fun. It's a little bit of repetitiveness with some of the enemies, which you get with these side-scrolling beat 'em ups. Yeah, if there's 500 enemies over all the levels, there's probably, other than bosses, there's probably about 8 enemies in most of these side-scrolling games, and this is no different. They're either exactly the same or they're graphically different, but they do the same thing, kind of thing.
Yeah. It's very Turtles coin up, isn't it?
Yeah, it has got multiplayer as well, so you can play multiplayer. And yeah, no, it's all right. It's a
looks good
7 or 8 out of 10 kind of thing.
Yeah,
you don't really unlock much other than like files on various characters, and comic book art or that kind of thing.
Good decision from the Marvel gang to release this one, I'd say.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not terrible. It's not great. If you love Marvel, you'll absolutely love it, and it'll be a 10 out of 10 for you.
And of course, soon we've got the He-Man scrolling beat 'em up coming out as well.
What's that? What's that one?
We've got the He-Man scrolling beat 'em up that's coming out soon. That's imminently coming out.
Is that going to be linked to the movie or the original He-Man?
It's linked to the cartoon, yeah.
Oh, excellent.
So I think it even uses some of the graphics from the cartoon. And then you've got the Terminator 2 game, which is due
No
out.
Fate? No. Yeah. 2D No Fate.
I don't know when that's due out, but
there's a lot of buzz about that. I think it's slowly built into quite a lot of buzz.
Yeah. They keep delaying it as well, don't they? So yeah.
But anyway, so the other game I've been playing is Lost Records Bloom and Rage, which is on Game Pass now as well. Okay. It's not a new game. It's by, I don't think it's by Don't Nod, or it is by Don't Nod. It's by the same people who do like Life is Strange. The Life is Strange 1 and 2, Life is Strange True Colors, and what was the other one that they did? This Is Me or something like that. So I haven't got that far into it. I've probably been playing a couple of hours, but yeah, it's all right, kind of thing. There's a bit of mystery going on to it. I'm not sure if it's supernatural or whether it's a sort of we know what you did last, or I know what you did last summer kind of thing. But it's all about the relationships between the main characters and how you deal with them and whether you romance one in particular, that kind of thing. There's quite a fun little recording mechanic where the main character likes to record things. It's set in 1995, and the main character likes to record things on the camcorder. And so when you go to in the recording mode, it shows you things that like a collection. So it might be critters, which means you've got to film a certain amount of bugs, that kind of thing, like literal bugs. I don't mean computer bugs. I mean literal insect kind of bugs.
Yeah.
And I mean, even one scene, you're in the forest, and there's 2 squirrels going at it, literally, and you can zoom in on them, and that's the thing that you can film, and you can keep all these bits that you've recorded and stitch them together or delete them, edit them, what order they go in, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's it's all right so far. I enjoy those kind of games. If you want action and you want difficult puzzles, these are not the games for you. But if you like to have a story that you can affect and change the story, then these Don't Nod games are fantastic. And most of them are available really cheaply nowadays, like Life is Strange 1 and 2. I think Life is Strange 1 was remastered, but Life is Strange 2 I don't think has been. But you can get them really cheap. So if you want a good story, good movie, night in, your Netflix and chill type people, that lasts more than an hour and a half, then Don't Nod a really good one. So that's really all I've been playing, other than a bit of Fortnite. this week.
Little bit of news. Terminator No Fate is due out on the 12th of December, so in 3 days. So there we are.
Excellent. Oh, so. It's tempting, but I can see something like that coming because it's coming to Xbox, isn't it?
I've not heard it's coming to Game Pass. I may be wrong, but I've not heard that.
I don't think it's coming to Game Pass now, but I can see it sort of being reasonably successful, and then them going, oh, actually, yeah, we'll bring it eventually. It's ranging from £35 to £45 to buy, so it's not a cheap indie game.
No.
But let's hope it's got more to it, or it's a bit deeper than the actual Terminator games from many years ago.
If you get the digital release, it's only £25, so that's
is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just looking at Amazon where it's like £40.
If you want the whole collector's edition, then we're talking a lot more. Although the collector's edition does look very good. It includes the art box and a coin and all sorts of things. So, yeah.
Think you'll be getting it?
Not at $89.99, no. But I will certainly look at getting it on the digital release, I think. So, yeah.
I'm just trying to find it on the Xbox site, but it just says not available separately.
It is coming out on Xbox.
Yeah.
And that is going to be priced at $24.99. So here we go.
Anyway.
Yeah. Right.
So what are we going to get onto for our main thing then, Mr. Tom?
So we are going to debate our top 5 gaming, what would you call it? Not consoles, but gaming devices of all time. And you have to.
Do we include playing with myself?
No. And that's harder than finding my PlayStation Vita charger. So not only do we have to agree on the top 5, you have to argue your point to put them in order. So we both have to have our own top 5, and then we have to come into an agreement via debate on a final top 5.
Okay. Well,
are you ready?
I've got Notepad open.
Okay.
1, 2.
So, do you know what your top 5 is? Do you think you're ready?
Well, yes, I believe so.
Okay.
I know what would be number 1.
Okay.
It's the 2 to 4 do change a bit, but they are pretty much set.
Mm-hmm.
And then the number 5, there was some that I thought, oh, could it be replaced by that? Oh, could it be replaced by this? And there is one of my top 5 that I haven't ever actually owned.
That's interesting.
I played it a lot because I had a best friend when I was little.
Yeah.
And played it a lot.
And never
which should pretty much tell you what it is.
Right, okay.
This is when we get back to the play with myself thing. No, I didn't play with my friends thing.
Good. I'm struggling on my number 5. So that's, yeah.
Well, I can see us having vastly different.
I think we will. And I think some of mine might be a bit controversial.
You see, now, the thing is, I would say the most versatile piece of hardware is obviously the PC.
Mm-hmm.
But that isn't in my top 5.
Okay.
But the fact is, the PC is, I mean, even though I like Xbox and there's nothing wrong with PlayStation and Nintendo, PC is the best way to game. It can be the most complicated, but you can play all your games pretty much on it, whether it's old Xbox 360 games, PlayStation games, Game Boy games, whatever. If you've got a PC, you can play it.
Definitely.
So anyway, come on then. Let's go with yours. Are you going to do them in reverse order from 5 to 1? Or should we do both to our 5s?
Let's do our... See, I'm undecided on my 5, but I'm going to go with what I've written down. I'm going to go with that. So let's both announce, and you can begin your number 5.
Number 5. My number 5. I've gone for the classic Part 2 of the Xbox journey, the Xbox 360.
Now, that's interesting because I have gone for the PlayStation 4, but I was struggling to choose between the PlayStation 3 or the 4, but I'm going to go with the 4.
Okay. See, I never owned a PlayStation 4, and that was obviously out at the same time as Xbox One, and I had an Xbox One. Now, I never had a problem with the Xbox One, per se. I don't know why people...
They just wasn't as successful, was it?
No, it wasn't successful. Yeah, I
it was
don't disagree with that.
Yeah, it was great, but
I don't know why people. There's some people slag it off. I mean, obviously, there's the fanboy part of it.
I agree with you.
It was just nothing wrong with it. But PS4, although PS4 did sound like a jet taken off after it got a bit dirty.
Yeah, it did.
And PS4 Pro was like a rocket taken off.
See, I have the Star Wars edition, collector's edition of it.
Is it nice and quiet still?
It is. Yeah, I mean, I've looked after.
I mean, they are. Don't get me wrong. I'm joking about this. They are pretty easy to take the shell off, give it a clean. Hey presto, problem solved.
Absolutely. And this is the key for me. So this is my argument for this one being number 5 over the Xbox. So you've got the PlayStation VR that works with it, so you can watch 3D movies, 3D Blu-ray. You can play games on the VR, non-VR games, mind you, as well as VR games. You had the One controllers, which come from...
Can I interject?
Go for it.
PSVR is not PS4.
Yes,
PSVR is PSVR.
PSVR is PlayStation 4.
No, it adds on to the PS4.
It does.
You didn't say PlayStation 4 and PSVR.
But the reasons for my journey on the PlayStation 4 are because of the totality of the package. So you have got hundreds upon hundreds of games which are absolutely fantastic. Last of Us. I don't think
most people would put PSVR in the package to promote it as a brilliant thing. I mean, it's very good, don't get me wrong, but most people would go for The Last of Us and Uncharted and all those kind of things.
There's so many great games. Graphically, it was brilliant. It surpassed the Xbox generation of that era. The controller's great. I think the design of the machine is great. The menu system on it is fantastic. You can watch movies on it. It's the last PlayStation generation that actually fully promoted having a media center on it, whereas the PlayStation 5 didn't at the beginning. I just think it's just one of those machines that to this day stands up, and you can use it. It's a Blu-ray player. It's just great.
I think
it's
that
all around great.
I think was the last one where there was a big jump.
Yes.
And we won't get as big a jumps anymore.
No.
Ever, I don't think, really. Until we get to literally where it looks like reality.
Yeah.
And now the thing is, we said that back in the 90s, I think. Oh my goodness, look at those people. They look real. And then you look back at them now and go, oh dear Lord. But when you've got things like Hellblade 2 coming out and you're like, what is that a film? To the point where that game, I literally, as I said, I sat there when we released that. For those who didn't hear that episode, when that game had its, I think one of its opening cutscenes or something, I sat there for a while and thinking, well, this is a bit boring. nothing's happening. That's because that what I thought was a film was footage recorded was actually the game, and it had just gone straight into the game. And yeah, I could control what I thought was a film.
Yeah.
It was that
and there's
good.
so many games like that on the PlayStation 4. And you know what? I would say actually there are more games that make me go, wow, on the PlayStation 4 than on the PlayStation 5.
Well, I mean, there's ones that that work on both, and this is the thing that they're still to this day making a lot of games come out for the Xbox One and the PS4.
Yeah,
because they're still not really pushing the boundaries. Now, granted, there are ones that they're never going to fit onto PS4 or Xbox One, but
no,
there's not that many.
no,
Which is quite surprising, seeing as there's a lot of games which have to be cut back because the PCs can handle them, but PS5 and the Xbox Series can't handle them. So weird.
Yeah. Okay.
But Xbox 360. If we're gonna go to why Xbox 360, I mean, and if we could add things on, Kinect was brilliant. I loved Kinect. I did the original one on the 360 work brilliantly. Yes and no.
All right.
It was all right. I had great fun with it.
I enjoyed it. I've still got mine.
Yeah, and it absolutely knackering, and eventually you played it and went, I'm a bit tired. I don't want to play that anymore. Yes, you played it for a sort of half an hour, and that was it. You were dead on your feet and never wanting to play for the ever again in your head then. But no, you had delights such as Gears of War. You had RPGs that, like, what's one that I saw recently that somebody said should be remastered? Lost Odyssey. You had the Rare replay that came out, and obviously because Microsoft bought Rare, and just so many good. And then the experience, the blades, the whole thing just worked really well. And I was one of the people that when they first started saying, "Oh yeah, you're going to have to pay for online," so why would I do that? And then I experienced it. They said, "Oh, have a month free or whatever." And I was like, oh, that works really well. Or there was free things you could do. I was like, oh, that doesn't work really well. And then I had friends who had a 360. I was like, oh, I could get Xbox Live. And then they start giving away free games as well.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, yes, I get free games and I can play with my friends. And yeah, okay, I had a PC early on. So I didn't really, and cross-platform wasn't that big a thing. So I did still pay for gold, so we could play things online. We used to play FIFA and Pro Evo. But yeah, no, so many good games, so many good memories as well. I think it was, and also I think because the jumps were still big, going from the previous generation, which was basically your Dreamcast, your PS2, and your original Xbox, which, if you look back at them, were slightly less blocky PlayStation ones, basically. And you had great games like Shenmue and Dreamcast, and Xbox had, what did Xbox have? Blinks, the Time Cat or whatever it's called. But yeah, 360 was the first one where it was like, oh wow, we could have big open worlds that still look good.
And it had HD DVD.
And it, yay! Because we're all sitting here surrounded by our HD DVDs.
I have about 10 in my loft.
10?
I've ever played.
Because there was only ever 10 films released in the history of the world ever.
I think there was about 500 actually.
No, I mean, like, literally, there's no other films. That's it. That's the only movies. There was 10 movies in the world, and you got them all.
So the question is, what do we decide?
Well, I think we're going to go with hearing others, because I'm keeping a record of yours. So what's your number 4? Let's go with your number 4.
Oh, I think you should say yours first.
Mm.
Because mine's controversial and something I enjoy.
Oh, is it going to be the Atari Jaguar?
No.
Let's say nobody enjoyed the Atari Jaguar.
No. That's a guilty pleasure of mine, but it's not worth it, put it that way.
Well, mine is a handheld.
Okay.
It is of the Big N variety.
Okay.
And it is not a Switch. And it is not a Virtual Boy as well. So I think you can guess. It's the Game Boy.
Ooh. Okay. Which
Number
one?
4. I put that. Just really? Original. I think.
Okay.
Just for its time, the fact that the 4 AA batteries would last so long, even rechargeable ones, which
30 hours
had a low capacity. And I just absolutely loved it, and it meant that I could go on long journeys and sit there playing a game. I could
squinting at the screen with the light boy on top of it.
In the back of the car. They were like, "Oh, don't read because you'll get sick." Excellent. I'll play my Game Boy then.
Now, I have the Game Boy in my list, and I completely agree with you on this one. However, I have it at number 2.
Ooh, okay.
And I'm going to argue the toss quickly and interrupt you here and say, first portable, literally hundreds of thousands of games. Battery life is brilliant.
I don't think hundreds of thousands.
I think there was, I don't know, Game Boy.
While you're talking, I shall do a little Google.
You do that. But I think it deserves something more than being at number 4. I think it deserves to be number 2 on our list. So I will barter you your Xbox 360 for placing the Game Boy Original 1989 in number 2.
So you think Game Boy should be in number 2? That means I can keep 360 at number 5.
You can
over PS4.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Because you've owned a 360, haven't you?
I still own a 360. Yeah.
There you go. And I've never owned a PS4, so PS4 never was going to appear in mine. At the end of the day, the PS3 and the PS4, the experience compared to the Xbox 360, I think, and the Xbox dashboard has always been brilliant, personally, I think. And that, for me, the fact that, there were some good PS exclusives, give you that. But I think also Xbox 360 has some amazing exclusives, and just the experience raises it up over the PS3 for me. So I have used a PS3 and a PS4. Yeah, I'll happily go for that. As I said, my 2, 3, and 4 were actually quite interchangeable.
Okay. There we are. We have
2.
We have 2
now. We are totally going to disagree about these other 3. I just know we are.
We're going to have to go with listen to my number 4 now. So my number 4 is the Philips CDI.
All right, let's move on.
Now, let me give you my argument on this. Okay. We wouldn't have had PlayStation without Philips, because it was Philips that jumped in.
So what you're saying is the PlayStation is better than the Philips CDI?
Hang on, let me finish. Hear me out. It's a good argument. I feel like I'm drowning, but it's a good argument. So we wouldn't have had PlayStation without Philips. Having the fact that Philips jumped in amongst the deal with Sony and Nintendo, and took over the development of the Nintendo CD add-on. It was the first machine that used full motion capture games such as Mad Dog McGree, Voyeur, International Tennis. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And I know people say there's not a lot of good games on the Philips CDI. Totally wrong. There are loads. It has the best Tetris, except for the Game Boy version. It's a yuppies version of Tetris.
Yes, you've said many times on various episodes. It's very calming and
I will
pretty.
Always fight his corner. It played VCDs. It played audio CDs. Not the format of audio CD that we later got, but mind you, it played a very particular kind of audio CD. But it did.
So you couldn't just go into our price and buy a CD and go home and plop it in your Philips CDI?
No, well, not that I've ever found, but I mean, maybe in the later versions.
Or was there like because you had the video cart, didn't you? That add on that you had to plug in. Was there maybe an audio CD plug-in?
Yeah, there was, because you had like, and they had concerts included in them and stuff. So there was DVDs were players back in those days when they first started to come out, and Laserdisc players were exceptionally expensive. But VCD players, which also had a high definition version of VCD, you could watch them, and they, everyone knew a Chinese person that came into the pub going, "You want DVD?" and things like that. Sorry for anyone I've offended. And but you could play them on CDI, and they released VCDs of so many movies.
Yes, the early days of the internet, when the days of LimeWire and Kazaa and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you wanted to download a video, you generally got them a movie. You generally got them in VCD format, and they would normally come on two CD size files.
Yeah.
Not that I would know that, obviously. I know that from research.
No. And the Philips CDI is actually the first generation of machine that could fully go online. There were others that could access it within a restricted form, but the Philips CDI was the first one that could fully go online and use email. So as much as people ridicule the system, it has its place, its footprint in gaming.
It does. Yeah. Yeah. Top 5 though.
Remember, it's my top 5.
I know, but we got to agree on a top 5 here. You're not selling it really. I mean, don't
without it, you wouldn't have your gaming generation. I
totally agree, though, that it has its place in the hierarchy of gaming history. Yeah. It's not like, it wasn't some, weird thing that was only 20 of them were sold because it was £5,000 kind of thing. It was available in all electrical stores, and you could buy games and whatnot. But it was definitely sold at the wrong time, because it was sold as a yuppie thing, and
it was
back in the 80s. It was kids and old guys in their mum's basement kind of thing. That's why that stereotype is there, because that's who was gaming. It was kids, and kids' parents weren't going to spend £1,000 back in the 1980s or whatever.
But it did sell up to 1 million units worldwide, and take in mind it had 2 portables, full color portables with the ability to play VCDs and full motion video in games. It had a VCR style unit, several of them, and it had a consoleized version of the unit as well, plus a micro unit that was very much like the bigger units. It was just an innovative machine done wrong by Philips. It could have been so much more.
Yeah, it could have been, but I think it was more focused on the FMV aspect, which
absolutely
FMV was limited. Your Mad Dog McCree, it was like, it was really hard because you shot something, and even though the person was there, you'd shoot them, and then you'd have that video go shooting you, be like, well, I've shot them about 5 times now.
Yeah.
And then it go, you're dead. Oh, all right then. So you'd have to sort of know what was coming so you could shoot them before they were there. Yeah, it wasn't well implemented.
Are you saying I can't have the CDI?
I'm saying let's just see what else we have. Let's see what else we have. At the end we've got 3 slots and 5 more devices to come, or possibly
my next one,
maximum of 3.
At number 3, needs no introduction, needs no argument or persuasion.
Okay, then we'll do mine then.
Go for it.
Go on then. Number 3. No, number 3.
Amstrad 464.
Do you know what? I knew that you'd pick that because I put number 3, Spectrum 48K.
Now, I think we can agree on something here. Because Amstrad bought the Spectrum brand.
Yeah.
And they actually produced... They produced the Spectrum machines at one stage. So why don't we agree in joint third place is Amstrad and Spectrum?
The Amstrad 48K.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, because it's similar to how PlayStation is or Nintendo is at the moment compared to Xbox, the reason why the Spectrum 48K was more... it was more popular. It was cheaper, so people bought it. So that's why all the games came out of it. It was lower powered, than the C64, the Amstrad.
Less colours, worse sound. Yeah.
But the Spectrum was just so easy and cheap and great value, and it did have. I mean, I did look up the Game Boy games, and there's various things saying basically between 1,000 and 2,000. Licensed games, so official games that were released. But the Spectrum literally had... I mean, you could buy tapes with sort of 100 games on because it was done by some bloke in his attic in Doncaster. And yeah, it was just... There was tens of thousands probably of games, and you could, if you want, you could buy books and make your own. And now, granted, you could do that with Amstrad, you could do that with C64, but the Sinclair was just released as a home console, home computer for everyone, and the basic was very basic, and you could, it was so good. So why would the Amstrad be at number 3?
Because it came with a screen. You could spend an extra 50 quid and get a colour screen. You could not and get the green screen and not be able to play half the games. It came with 24 free titles. I think it was 24. But anyway, it came with the Amsoft software. You could buy a printer for it. You could buy a voice synthesizer.
It came with a screen?
Yeah. Did you not know that?
Was that the one that had like the handle?
Yeah, it was its biggest selling point because the Spectrum didn't. You had to rely on having the TV to yourself. You could put a voice synthesizer. Spectrum, I don't believe, could do that. Everything was built in.
You could get
from scratch.
You could get things like software that would do it. I remember having various software that was free on the front of magazines that you'd be able to have a voice synthesizer where you'd be able to type something and it would say it, but it was literally the worst audio you'd ever hear.
Whereas the Amstrad one was actually quite good. So and everything was better on the Amstrad. I know people don't agree with this. We had more colours, more audio, better audio, sorry.
Yeah, but if you're going to go by that, then the C64 had more colours.
We did, but none of us have chose the C64. So, let's not go there.
And there's only one of them still being made.
Well, yeah, but let's face it. Once they've released this one, where's it going?
Yeah.
Because you can't produce... I just don't see it going anywhere unless they come up with some fantastic... remember the VCS? Was it the VCS where they had that downloadable Atari games, and it actually looked pretty cool. Unless it goes that route, I just don't see how you're going to make
a lot of this modern hardware has stuff in it that means they can be hacked to do other things. And that's what maybe a lot of people do.
Yeah, maybe that's the key. So I strongly believe that the Amstrad then bought out Spectrum, and let's face it, the Spectrum became a clone of the Amstrad. And then Alan Sugar killed it deliberately, I think.
Yeah, I remember because we had the 48K, the rubber key, and then my dad, I think a couple of years later, bought or was given, I think, a Spectrum, and it was like because the +2 was a hard key, and the +3. Now we had a hard key Spectrum that didn't have a tape deck or disc on it, and I'm like, I've never been able to find what one that was. So whether that was because they also upped it to 128K, didn't they? Oh, there you go. I found it here. This one.
That wasn't that difficult.
Yeah, so it's just. Oh no, that's a Spectrum Next.
No, wasn't it the Sinclair ZX 48K? Oh dear, hold on.
Well, I'm just looking at.
It was the ZX Spectrum Plus.
It was just the Plus. Okay, yeah. So we had that one as well, and it was still really. You know how the people take the mick out of the rubber keys. You had to mush. They were mushy and stuff. Well,
they fouled all the time.
Oh yeah, but you could take them off and replace them, and not replace them, but repair what was underneath. They were that easy to, repair yourself. But the hard key one, I still remember that it was really mushy, as in that they would wobble when you put them down. Like you could push them down and sort of slide them a little bit so they would stay under another one. So if you typed fast or anything on them, then probably the Spectrum wouldn't keep up. But also, the keys would get stuck under sometimes. You'd be like, and so it just have like if the A key got stuck under the S, you just have appearing on the screen. You're like, get off your stupid thing. There you go.
But I just don't see how the Spectrum beats the Amstrad. Not in popularity, because the Spectrum was much more popular than the Amstrad. However, the Amstrad was a better machine, better colours, better sound, better design. The games look better. Quite often we got cast-offs of Spectrum stuff because developers were lazy. But actually, when something was developed on the Amstrad and then brought from the Amstrad to the Spectrum got a better version. So...
Yeah, it's like when something's ported and something's native. Yeah, you get that a lot. Now, I will give you more powerful, but more powerful doesn't mean better. So I think I like your original idea. Let's go for number 3 is the Amstrad Spectrum 48K.
Okay, that's what we're going to agree on.
Excellent.
There we go. We're doing well.
Right, so you've gone for your number 2 was the Game Boy, wasn't it?
Original.
And your number 3 was the Amstrad. Hang on. Let me just type that in. So I'm going to say my number 2. Now, this is the one that I never actually owned, but I did play it a lot because I had a friend who had one and I was around his pretty much every day. And that is good old Sega Mega Drive. Now, I can hear Super Nintendo fanboys and Nintendo fanboys all in my ear going, yeah, but it didn't have this and stuff and all this.
But we have a number 2, so you can't have the number 2 spot.
Well, no, it can't have the number 2 spot, but we can discuss.
And it can't have the number 3, but you could. I would agree that actually it deserves its place in the number 4 spot.
Yeah, because I mean, I'd say it's definitely better than the first CDI.
Yeah. So automatically, I think if you're
But
agreeable,
what are
we
we
can
going
go
to do
straight
about
in.
number one if our number ones are different?
Well, this is the key. So, should we just say our number ones and then argue it out?
Yeah, go on then.
Super Nintendo.
Oh, see, you've gone for that one. What do you think I've gone for?
I don't know.
PlayStation 1.
No.
There you go. See,
No.
the Xbox. Well, the thing is, for me, it's not just the fact that it was the first CD one that did polygons really well and all this kind of thing, and yes, it did do audio CDs that you could buy from the record store without any kind of adapter or anything. But it's also memories. Memory. PlayStation 1, it was groundbreaking in terms of getting 3D games off the ground.
It was groundbreaking, I'll give you that.
It's number one for that. In terms of graphical capability, I remember it because it could do less polygons than the N64, but it could texture them.
Yeah.
Which the N64 didn't do very well.
Had like a blurring effect, didn't it, on the N64?
Yeah, there was, because of the way the chips worked and the graphics processor worked and all that kind of thing, it just worked better on the PS1. So, and also because of the storage, because textures take up a lot of storage, whereas polygons don't. So you have all these games where they used to call it digitizing, didn't it? It wasn't sort of Mortal Kombat style digitizing, but it would be photos of somebody's face on a square polygon head or a cubic polygon head, and on a building there would be an actual picture of an actual building. I remember it was on the PS2, but things like The Getaway come to memory, where they actually took pictures from around London and then put them onto things in the game, so it looked like London. But the PS1 did that first, and it did it really well. And then with the fact they had things like Gran Turismo near the end, and Gran Turismo 2, was on PS1, wasn't it?
Yeah.
At the end of its life, where I remember it had that replay where it sort of blurred things in the background, and then they'd come into focus. And it was like, wow. I mean, you look at it now, if I showed it to my son, he'd probably go, yeah, it's a racing game. Can I play Forza, please? But he'd probably have fun playing it. But he wouldn't be impressed by the graphics. But back in 1998 or whatever it was, the first Gran Turismo, that was just outstandingly amazing.
It was good, yeah.
And having things like the original Soul Blade and Tekken 3 and the Street Fighter 3, was it? 3X Alpha or something like that?
Yeah, it had all of them, I think.
Yeah, so all things like that. And then my very first games that I got with my PlayStation 1, Battle Arena Tushinden and Demolition Derby. And Demolition Derby 2 was just outstanding game. I loved every minute of owning it. And then, of course, you got the number one game of all time, or one of the highest rated games of all time. Final Fantasy VII came on it on, I believe, 3 discs. Wasn't the most discs of any game that I had. I had the X-Files, I think, had the most. I think it was 4 or 5. But yeah, loved it. So, Super Nintendo.
Oh, here we go. Best controller ever made. Hands down. The best controller ever made. No, it's fact. The Super Nintendo had thousands of games. It had
very popular.
It had an almost arcade perfect Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. It smashed the Mega Drive version out of the park. It had the Super FX chip 1 and 2, and among other FX chips.
Which was Star Fox, wasn't it?
Star Fox. It had stunt racer, some car game. There was loads of
which
them.
basically allowed 3D graphics, didn't it?
Yeah, in an era where actually only PCs could manage decent 3D graphics. It had Donkey Kong using Rare's motion capture technology, and Donkey Kong 1, 2, and 3 came out at the very end of the Super Nintendo's life. And that was around the time the PlayStation started to appear. And Donkey Kong looked better than all of the PlayStation games that came out, as did Donkey Kong 2 and 3. Although a lot of people didn't know that Donkey Kong 3 got a release.
I'd say, did they look better than anything on PlayStation? I mean, at the end of the PlayStation 1's life, when you had things like Gran Turismo and
but still, look at Mario 3 RPG 3D or whatever it was called. It was a phenomenal looking game, something that wasn't replicated on the PlayStation. Graphically, it was better, and yet it was technology that couldn't even come close to the PlayStation, but it did. It did manage it with these games. You had, in its early days, you had F-Zero, you had Nigel Mansell's F1 Challenge, you had Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 were outstanding. And actually, the Super Nintendo version of, not so much the first one, but the second and third were a better version than what was on the PlayStation, because the PlayStation couldn't emulate it very well for some inapparent reason. And I know historically that was an old game by that point, but still. It was just all round. The Super Nintendo had the arcade stick. It had the Super Scope. They were working on a VR as well, but they never came out.
PlayStation 1 G-Cons. Time Crisis, Point Blank. Oh god, I so want. You can get Point Blank on. I can't remember. They're called Gay or G apostrophe AIME. I think they're called. They're like light guns that work on modern TVs.
I've seen those.
They're about 150 quid, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
Actually, actually, they might be cheaper than that, but to buy it with Point Blank, I think is a lot more. And I'm like,
but you had Lethal Enforcers on the Super Nintendo.
You had Lethal Enforcers on the Mega Drive.
But it was better on the Super Nintendo.
Oh yeah, probably. Mega Drive was less powerful.
You had everything, all of the Super Nintendo Street Fighters, right up to the X versions were.
I've got an idea.
Right. Go.
How's about Amstrad Spectrum 48K goes down to number 4.
Yep.
Game Boy goes down to number 2. And then we just have to decide who comes first. PS1 or SNES. Because Mega Drive, I'll allow that to be gone to the nether.
Okay.
If you want. I'll give that one up. But I still think PS1 should be number 1.
I will agree. The SNES should be number 1 and PlayStation should be number 2, and everything else moves down.
Because Game Boy number 3, Amstrad.
I'll give my reasoning behind that. The PlayStation 1 was fantastic. Had you said PlayStation 2, I would have agreed number 1. Because the PlayStation
2 was sold the most.
The PlayStation 1 was based on technology to work with the Super Nintendo. But actually, it was great. It was an innovation. But it wasn't fantastic. And graphically, it wasn't. It was good at the polygons. It was good at the 3D. But graphically, it didn't hold up to the later titles of the Super Nintendo. Not even close. So...
I mean, Metal Gear Solid 1. Oh,
didn't hold up.
Solid 1.
It did not hold up to Super Mario RPG. It didn't hold up to Donkey Kong. It just didn't.
See, I'm not really the Nintendo fan, really. I'm not the I think it's crap or anything. I just like if you said to me, "Do you want to play Donkey Kong or Metal Gear Solid 1?" I'd be like, Metal Gear Solid 1 any day of the week.
But you're of that era where you probably jumped from Mega Drive, which wasn't as good as the Super Nintendo, and you jumped straight to PlayStation.
Yeah, I mean, I bought a PlayStation 1 when I moved out at 18. So that would have been 1996. And yeah, it was pretty soon after I moved out. And before then, at our house, we had a PC, a low-powered PC, but back in those days, as long as it had...
486.
You had all of the... You didn't need sort of the equivalent of a £2,000 graphics card to play anything. You had a sound card, you had a processor, and yes, you did have a graphics card, but it was whether it had certain features or not. It wasn't about necessarily how powerful. You had to have 3DFX card or whatever it was. So we had that, so I could play things like Doom and Quake and whatnot.
But we had Doom on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, Doom on PlayStation 1. Problem was, and that was the other thing. I've got to argue about that. The best controller, but it's not necessarily a Super Nintendo thing. It's just I don't do well with controls on a flat plane. So the original Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, I just don't get on with them. And yet, having the ergonomics of like the Mega Drive and then the PlayStation, but like the Nintendo Switch, I really cannot play that for anything more than about 5 minutes.
I agree with you on the Nintendo Switch. It's very awkward. But I'm gonna throw some titles at you now.
Ow!
And then I'm gonna end it with the best game.
Now, are you going to throw titles at me that you think I might get or that you would like?
No, these are titles of Super Nintendo which smashed the PlayStation. Chronos Trigger, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Final Fantasy III, Super Metroid, Earthbound, Mega Man X, Terranigma, Secrets of Mania, Contra 3, Turtles in Time, and the best game ever made, rated as the best game ever made, Super Mario World.
Super Mario World is a damn fine game. You see, now, you said about Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
Chrono Cross was on PlayStation.
Yeah, but it wasn't as good as Chrono Trigger. And whilst I agree there are great games on the PlayStation, had you have said PlayStation 2, I would have said yes, but you didn't. So I'm going to have to say...
It's the memory. It is the rose-tinted glasses.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
But you see, if you want to go by a list, you say good old Metacritic, you got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, Tekken 3, Gran Turismo, Final Fantasy 9 and 8 and 7, Gran Turismo 2, Chrono Cross. Here's one for you, Street Fighter Alpha 3.
Which was shit.
Castlevania. Well, you might say that, but it's rated as 93 on Metacritic.
Still shit compared to...
Wipeout 2047.
But we had F-Zero. F-Zero.
Vagrant Story.
Didn't look as good, but it was a great game.
Now, the original Medal of Honor, now, if I remember rightly, the controls of that were terrible because you didn't have the sticks. So you had to hold one of the shoulder buttons to then aim on the screen. So it was a bit sort of like GoldenEye-ish, but without the silencer. And then the classics of Tomb Raider and Resident Evil. Now, Crash Bandicoot wasn't as good as Super Mario World. I will give it that. But
not even close, no.
And then Legacy of Kain. Legacy of Kain. So some damn fine ones. And I think the problem is that on any other day, one I might agree with you, and you might agree with me some days.
But not
look,
today.
I'm just seeing here Soul Edge.
We just forgot.
Tekken 2, Resident Evil 2.
Super Mario Kart, Tetris Attack, Kirby Superstar, Castlevania, Super Mario All-Stars, Earthbound.
Oh, Driver. Oh, God, do you remember that? Bloody intro level.
It took me forever to figure that one out.
Yeah, me and my friend, it took us weeks, I think, of doing it. And then as soon as we got through, we were like, right, that's it, quick save. And so we had a save where it was done.
And then the internal battery bloody runs out, or the save dies, and then you have to start again.
I remember we worked out to do it, and then after that we were like, let's give it another go or something. And we worked out to do it, and then we were like, oh, it's really easy.
Yeah.
There were certain tricks that was like, oh, if you do that, then it's easy. Oh, I completely forgot as well. Obviously, number 2 is your favorite, but don't forget, PlayStation has Silent Hill.
It still doesn't compare to anything on the SNES.
Well, on that note, right.
Do you know what? I actually think we should leave this decision.
It would be a Martin.
And Martin can make the final decision.
So overall, I'll put number 1, SNES PS1.
Yeah.
And you'll have to listen to the next episode that Martin is on, which could be in a couple of weeks. For him to vote. So.
Interestingly, he's an N64 fan. And
and I think he might have had a SNES before that, I think.
Yeah, so time will tell. The decision sits with Martin.
Ooh, dum, dum, dum.
So until the next episode, guys, listen in for the results.
And let us know which one you would pick out of those.
Yeah.
And whether PS2 should have got the number 1 slot.
Yeah.
Oh.
And on that note,
focusongaming.co.uk. Like and subscribe, and go on Facebook and leave a comment. And
share the podcast.
Yeah.
With your friends. Subscribe, like, whatever it takes. Do what you need to do.
Send us a coffee.
That would be good.
Right. And on that note,
goodbye.
Bye.